Today's video is, I have to say, a blatant advertisement for a particular newspaper that I think everybody ought to be reading and supporting. There are very few periodicals these days which actually tell the truth and have what would be, I suppose, well, maybe slightly biased, but biased towards revealing what nasty things are going on in this world. And it popped through my letterbox only today. You can, of course, pick it up in numerous different places. You can read it online, or you can ask for it to be delivered. And it is, of course, the Light paper. And it's not light with its news and controversial stories, of course. And this week, the issue 36 monthly is very interesting. It's a very interesting thing. So don't just dispel your thoughts and think, oh, I'm going to go elsewhere. Now I've seen what Vobes is up to. Just hold on, bear with me a little bit because I want to show you something funny. People get the power. Here we go. Imagine a world where everyone develops their individual talents and strengths and interests to their full capacity without being shut down by nefarious things. Lots of fascinating stories, of course. Husband given midazolam and morphine 2 days after he died. If that doesn't stir you, I don't know what will. But loads of interesting and fascinating stories in here. Mental health used to threaten liberty. How to trump tyranny. They only have threats, but you have the power. Lots of great stories, always, every month, and it's worth reading. This keeps you up to date. School, of course, No Place for Children. That's People's lawyer David Edelman, who concludes this interview with Richard House. But the thing that, excuse me, picking my nose there, the thing that really fascinated me is this amazing centre page spread. And I have to go through this with you because it's worth just getting the newspaper to read this in and of itself. And I'm sure that the people at the Light paper won't mind too much me going through this. Because it's it's an advert for the paper, and hopefully more people will sign up for it because you'll get great information like this. And this is, let me just show you a picture of it so you get to see this in glorious Technicolor. Hang on, a little technical stuff going on here with this extra camera here. Here we go. This is the campaign for more tyranny, and it says here, we are a bunch of clueless idiots who value security over freedom and responsibility. And therefore, we're urging the government to do the following. And I'm going to read out the following. Here it is. So, we're urging the government to do this, to sign the WHO pandemic treaty so everyone can be forcibly injected with you-know-what. Obviously, we need everybody to be injected with it so that they can have their wicked way and depopulate the planet. We also want the government to pass online censorship laws. Thought crime is, of course, still a crime. Whatever goes on in your brain must be actually looked at, examined, and if you're saying the nasty things, if you're thinking those things that shouldn't be unthinkable, then we're going to lock you up. Of course, if you stand outside and pray, my goodness, that is a terrible thing. You can be arrested for that, as we have seen in the news. Something very itchy going on in my nose. Ban all non-electric vehicles that have few rare earth minerals. Cars just don't have enough rare earth minerals in them these days, do they not? They just, we need more of those kids going down the mines in the third world countries, getting out those very important rare minerals and slaving away. So if you have an electric car, of course, you are supporting slavery because you're making sure that those rare earth minerals are being dug out by all those poor little kids. And I appreciate everybody loves a bit of slavery, don't they? Restrict. We want to urge the government to restrict international travel to only those people who deserve it. Those very rich and elite people who actually ought to be travelling around in the air unhindered by those other aeroplanes that have holiday makers and business people going about trying to earn a few pence or get out into the sunshine, finding those smart islands, for example, that are lovely and smart and full of technology that will frazzle their brains. We urge the government to restrict international travel. Oh, I've just read that. To raise green taxes because energy bills are clearly not high enough. We must have a government that will raise those bills so high that we can't afford it, that we have our houses repossessed and we own nothing, and we'll be so happy. We'll be so happy about that. We want the government to suspend the Constitution and cooperate on law, military and finance with more foreign powers. After all, those lovely foreign powers, particularly the ones that have been unelected and are unaccountable, to control everything that we do, that would be so much better for all of us, especially if we get rid of any constitution that is there to protect us from governments, particularly those that sort of no longer are actually serving us, but actually think that they control us and own us and, turn us into slaves. We want the government to introduce a social credit system to reduce carbon emissions and unapproved behaviour. So, in other words, we do want that government. If you're a little bit naughty there in one thing, you've spent a bit too much money in one area, or you've put something on social media, oh my goodness, we want to introduce a credit system that will penalise you. It makes perfect sense. It would get everybody making sure that they're all the same and have the same opinion and obey everything. It would be such a lovely society to be in, would it not? We want the government to force everyone to go online where everything can be monitored for our safety. Absolutely. Cashless society sounds perfect. Everything you do is all online. Everything. You can't have any thoughts of your own. You can't go and talk to somebody across the garden fence anymore. No. It's far better that you talk to your neighbours across the internet so that we can monitor everything you say. It's just, it's all for your safety and your confidence. What else do we want to do here? The campaign would like to see the government remove parental responsibility so that the state can raise the children properly as slaves, as digital slaves, as those that will be thinking the right thoughts, and those that possibly are not thinking the right thoughts may be spirited away and their blood sucked out for nefarious reasons. We also want the government to teach very young children about sex and relationships. So important to teach young children at the age of 4 or 5 how to masturbate. After all, children, of course, are sexual objects, are they not? And this is what they should be doing. This is what the campaign asks for, because the government love this sort of thing. They absolutely love it, and I think we should, of course, naturally encourage all of that. We ask the government to fight terrorism and antisocial behaviour with the digital currencies so that, again, we can be monitored, that any cash private transactions are completely abolished. After all, the government really need to stick their big honking great nose into everything and be able to sniff out anybody evading any form of tax. So I think that's absolutely essential. We would like to keep everyone safe with more surveillance cameras everywhere. I think surveillance cameras in the bedroom would be a good starting point. We don't want any of that kind, loving pillow talk that goes on. And everywhere you go, in fact, small mini nanotechnology drones ought to be following each and every one of us about, making sure that we are behaving ourselves and not saying anything that might be deemed to be bad or wrong or in any shape or form nefarious. We don't want anybody causing a problem. 2 more requests from the campaign for more tyranny. Ban non-approved artists, musicians and comedians from the media. Anybody who makes fun at the expense of the government or pokes a little bit of a wry joke at people in authority, they clearly should be banned. We don't want anybody doing that kind of thing. I mean, it would be absolutely absurd for a YouTube channel with some bald bloke with glasses who's just sort of taking a mickey out of people. It just wouldn't be fair, because it may influence people. They may start thinking that actually the government isn't as nice and kind and benevolent as it possibly ought to be. And they may realise that they are more under the thumb than they realise. And so these sort of people desperately need to be banned. And finally, the campaign for more tyranny would like to reduce people's meat intake and encourage them to eat bugs. Bugs are not Bugs Bunny, not talking about rabbits, because that's meat. No, bugs, those nasty bugs. And I think we've programmed people, I use program very intently there, by watching such programs on the television in the jungle, in which two comedians encourage celebrities to eat bugs and enjoy them. And I think that's a bit of a sort of a starting point, that if celebrities in the jungle can eat bugs, then you, the general public, ought to not eat meat and enjoy nice quality foods that are good for you, but eat mealworms and death watch beetles, things like that look really disgusting, crawl around on the plate, and you shove them into your mouth as if you were locked up like Papillon was in that film and the novel of the same name. So there we are. And in conclusion, it just reminds me to remind you, of course, that no one is safe until everyone is safe. And if you go to the Light newspaper, it's marvellous, you can go to the website and find out where you can find out more about the campaign for more tyranny. As I say, the actual newspaper has lots of other exciting things in it, which are a little bit more serious than that particular article. But it is an excellent newspaper, and I think it's well worth reading. So get issue 36 actually, out today. Find out about the common law, about the weather, about international stuff and health. Carbon dioxide isn't hazardous, apparently. We've all been told that it is. And we're all going to die in a horrible, agonising death. So there we are. Thank you for watching. I'll be back with more nonsense in the near future.